Hello my friends, and welcome to the Vibrant Success Club. Today I'm going to take you through a session called Adapting Your Tapping, and it's 3 really simple steps for you to personalise your EFT sessions so you can get some really big shifts. So who am I and why am I here? Well, my name's Jenny. I'm a tapping advocate, an artist and a creative, chaotic, messy person. Big fan of coffee, big fan of creativity, and I have been working with Kai and within the Vibrant Success Club for the last 18 months now, so since December 2015. I've had some huge results. I've gained so much confidence, I'm happier, I'm more open and able to create in my life. I've just recently left the corporate world and I'm building a business of supporting and healing through creativity. I'm really starting to live my dreams, but I wouldn't have made this progress without EFT and without Kai and the Vibrant Success Club. So, having been through the club itself, it wasn't always as big as it is now. There are new videos, new audios, and it has over time become a massive library of healing. However, before it became this massive, I'd completed most of the sessions and I was starting to find that things weren't quite hitting the mark. So I began experimenting and personalising my sessions. So you'll hear Kai in a lot of the sessions say, if it doesn't resonate with you, change the words. And that's what I started doing. So I'm here today to share my system so that you can really supercharge your EFT and get the results you need. So it's 3 really easy steps. First one's journaling. Second one is identifying the issues, and thirdly you select your session. So it really is quite simple to do. I'm going to talk you through each of those stages so that you really can get the most out of these. Now, first one's journaling. If you are anything like I hated journaling. I was ridiculously resistant, so resistant that for the first 7 months of my EFT journey and my Vibrant Success journey, I would not journal. Full stop, end of story. Didn't happen, and I wasn't prepared to do it. I'm not sure quite what changed, but my point is, I refused to journal, and that's the reason I've enclosed the screenshot, so you can actually see how horrific I found it, just how resistant I was to it. I don't know why, but I was. Now, the thing is, Kai's right. Journaling is essential. It's the most important step of all, especially when it comes to personalising your EFT. So if you are like I was and will not journal, tap on it, talk about it and get through that block, because this is so important. It has changed my world completely, and it is also the best and most effective way of making sure you can move forward in your life. You know, it allows you to pull out those issues and those blocks and identify things far more effectively. I do now journal every single day. I have a daily journal which is very positive, very what I want to create. I also have a tapping journal, and that's for the deeper issues, for blocks, for figuring the crap out. And I have that specifically so that I can really start to delve in and bring my issues to light. I also keep a list of journaling questions. Now, I've built this list from listening to a lot of Kai's tapping sessions, and you can add to it, and I have included a list for you within this program. So you can add to that, you can take from that what you need. You know, it really helps to just journal that crap out. So our next step is to identify these issues, and the first bit we're going to look at is on a broader scale. So during your regular journaling, you're going to come across triggers, things that give you a physical sensation or an emotional reaction. So when I do my positive journaling in the morning, I might sit there and go, I want to make £200,000 this year. And I'll feel potentially a tightening in my chest. Now that's an emotional, that's a physical sensation. Okay, so I pop that into my tapping journal. And when I start to want to do a bit of tapping, or I'm looking for a session, I'll review these feelings, these sensations, these emotions that are coming up for common themes and high-level triggers. Now these could be things like fear of, a feeling of disapproval, that you feel like you're being greedy, that you're not enough, that you feel trapped, that you feel judged, and you're looking for these overarching sensations. It could be something like undeserving, but these are the things that a lot of your feelings around a topic, around a subject, will have a similar broad scale issue. So you will start to see those themes. And that's what you want to start paying attention to, because those broad themes are going to help you pick out the session for you. And we'll come on to that in a moment. So the next step with your journaling is to identify the details. Now, this is where these prompts that we talked about earlier really come into it. You've got your overarching themes, you've got your feelings, you need to start working through those, and the journaling is the only way to do it. You may be resistant, you may not like doing it, but it's the one way to really connect with those emotions, understand what those blocks are, and be able to work through them. You cannot get this wrong. This is the great thing about it. Whatever you think, whatever you say, is right for you. That simple. So the way I do it, I select 2 or 3 questions that I want to work with, or an overarching feeling and a few questions, and I start to work through those. So one that was a really big one for me, and I've pulled this out of my journal from 6 months ago, I think it was, is that self-employment isn't safe. Income isn't guaranteed, and I worked with that because self-employment was the dream life I wanted to create. Well, if I felt it wasn't safe, I was never going to create it. It's a constant self-sabotage. So that was kind of my overarching feeling of safety and security around self-employment. So that's my broad spectrum. And I asked questions about, why doesn't it feel safe? What's the worst that could happen? And basically a lot of whys in there, to be honest, when I did this. So the stuff that came up for me was that people won't turn up for me because I don't show up or complete things. I do a half-assed job, so I'm obviously not good enough. And what came out of all these journaling questions was that I was being judged by my family, because my family always said self-employment isn't stable, and I was looking for approval. So I had some really big blocks there. And I had a lovely list of just little questions that I'd worked through, and they form the basis for your tapping session. Now, you need to rate these statements and feelings, usual level 1 to 10 or more if you need to, and that will help you with your reflection as well later on. So then we come on to selecting your session, which is the third bit. So we go back to our overarching theme, and we check out the Vibrant Success Club to find the best fit. You're not looking for perfection, you're not something that is going to match exactly. You want something that helps you delve into that overarching theme and utilise what's there. So take some time to browse the sessions that are available, get to know the content, get to know what's included in the library. It's a case of done is better than perfect. You're not going to get the perfect session every single time. That's okay. The idea is to work through those issues that you have. So if you find yourself around, like I did, self-employment isn't safe, it was a feeling of safety and security around money. So I actually went to, it's a session called Money Isn't There For Me, and I used that and translated it into safety and security around money. And I got quite a few shifts out of that. I also got a lot of shifts from being visible and being seen with that as well, like family judgment and approval. So just look to pull out these broader like these overarching themes, these broad sections that allow you to delve down into it. Now, the reason I'm saying select a session, because you could sit there and go, oh no, I've got a tapping script, I'll use that. That's great. And you can do that. But stay with me here. Kai's sessions are designed specifically to take you all the way through from bringing up those emotions, transmuting them, and grounding. Now, I've done tapping, might I say, for the last 18 months. Using these sessions as a base allows you to stay on track. It means that your 10-minute session that you might do yourself and then stay triggered for the rest of the day becomes a half-hour session that you're not triggered by at all. You work through it and you transmute it effectively. And that's what we want. To supercharge your session, you want an effective shift. To do that, you need some sort of guidance in there. And, you know, you've got a giant library of it. use it. So these sessions will allow you to stay on track. And after that, you just tap your heart out. Really, really simple. You'll come across things during the session that don't resonate, and this is when your journaling questions, that deep journaling, starts to come in. The details and questions that you answered, when Kai says something like, and it makes me feel, you insert your feeling. And if anything she says doesn't resonate with you, because the way you tap, you instinctively wait for Kai to say her piece first before you repeat it, and she leaves you space for that. So you'll know, no, that's not quite right. Trust your instincts. You're not wrong. You're adapting the process to suit. So if Kai says, and it makes me feel angry, and you don't feel angry, you feel deep sorrow, say, I feel deep sorrow. If it doesn't resonate, you don't say it. Now, if you get to a point in the session where things are starting to change but you feel like you're way behind, it's perfectly acceptable to pause the session or rewind and go through it again if you're not ready to move forward. And that's a really, really good way to get those big shifts, to just recognize. You'll learn as you tap to recognize when you're not quite ready to move on, or if you are quite ready to move on, whichever it is. And if you keep going to the end and you find, actually I'm still triggered, you can go back and do it again. It's never truly over. It's a process of continuous change, and you're allowed to do that. The final thing is drink more water. Always drink lots and lots of water. Okay? Kai says this all the time, but it's very, very true. It really does help. So that is how I supercharge my sessions, and I want to let you know that really the more regularly you tap, the easier it becomes. By personalising your sessions, you're going to get some epic shifts. Now, I've done binge tapping, I've done the 3, the 5, the 17-day sessions. Don't let it end there. Keep doing the work. The only way to change is to show up and to do the work. There is no magic pill that just says, right, you only need to do this session and this will happen. It's a process. We're made of layers. We have these emotional layers. So there's the debt management session, which I have done probably about 7 or 8 times since joining, and I keep going back, I keep going through layers. It's regular application. It's like an ointment for a rash, which I know is a really ridiculous analogy, but it works for this. Stay with me here. It's regular application. So you keep putting that ointment on every single day until that layer's healed. Then something else will come up and you work through it again. So keep tapping, look back occasionally on how far you've come, and recognise your own success, because this will bring you massive success, but you have to show up and do the work. So don't wait, supercharge your sessions and get the change you deserve. And I will see you either in the Facebook group or just milling around. Take care and have an awesome session. Bye!